Reclaim your power, control your mind. In the shadows of your mind, there exists a war most do not even realize they are fighting. A war not with some external enemy, but with yourself. A war against your impulses, your cravings, and the very urges that hold you back from realizing the full potential of your mind. This is the war against masturbation, but more importantly, it is the war against everything it represents: the loss of self-control, the grip of destructive emotions, and the slow erosion of your inner power. Many approach this topic with shame, embarrassment, or the idea that it's a minor issue, something trivial that doesn't deserve serious thought. But let's strip away all the illusions. Let's look at the truth beneath it. This is not just a question of stopping a physical act. It is about the far-reaching consequences of that act on your mind, your spirit, and your life. It is about the chains that are forged in moments of weakness, chains that bind your will and cloud your vision. The truth is, every time you succumb to this habit, you hand over a part of yourself to something beyond your control. You feed into the chaos of your impulses, and with each indulgence, you make those chains tighter. You weaken your ability to focus, to resist, and to rise above the forces that pull you down. But the good news is this: you can break free. You can reclaim your power, and with it, you can cultivate the clarity, focus, and strength of mind that you were always meant to have. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. It requires something far more profound than simple desire or half-hearted attempts at change. It requires a total shift in perspective, a fundamental reawakening of the strength within you. In this text, we will dive into the depths of what it truly means to regain control over yourself. We will walk through the philosophy, the psychology, and the emotional layers involved in overcoming this habit. By the end, you will have not just the tools, but the unshakable drive to forge a new path for yourself, one rooted in self-mastery and freedom. The hidden cost of habit. Let's start with understanding why masturbation, at its core, represents more than just a physical act. It's important to see this habit not as an isolated behavior, but as a reflection of something much deeper within the human psyche. At the surface, it may seem like a release, an outlet for stress, boredom, or sexual frustration. But beneath that, it is a mirror of your relationship with your impulses, your emotions, and your ability to direct your own life. Each time you engage in this habit, you feed into the cycle of instant gratification. You trade long-term gain for short-term pleasure, and this pattern is dangerous. It weakens your ability to delay gratification, which is the cornerstone of any real success in life. The ability to hold off on immediate desires in favor of greater future rewards is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who fall into mediocrity. When you indulge in masturbation, you train your brain to seek comfort in the easiest, most accessible form of pleasure. This is the same mechanism that drives addictions to other vices: food, drugs, social media, and countless other distractions. Your brain begins to form a habit loop, a trigger, a behavior, and a reward. Over time, the behavior becomes automatic, and the reward diminishes. What once gave you a fleeting sense of satisfaction now leaves you feeling empty, unfulfilled, and even more dependent on the next fix. The cost is not just a few moments of pleasure. The real cost is your mental energy, your focus, your drive. Every time you give in to this habit, you give away a piece of your willpower. You make it harder for yourself to resist future temptations, not just in this area, but in all areas of life. Your ability to focus on your goals, your work, your relationships, everything is affected. You may not see it immediately, but over time, the subtle erosion of your inner strength becomes undeniable. What's more, the emotional toll is significant. Masturbation often comes with feelings of guilt, shame, and regret. These emotions compound over time, feeding into a negative cycle of self-loathing and frustration. You start to see yourself as weak, as incapable of overcoming your urges. This emotional burden weighs heavily on your mind, making it even harder to break free from the habit. It's a vicious cycle, one that can feel impossible to escape. But let's be clear, this is not about moral judgment. This is about recognizing the impact of your actions on your mind and your life. It's about seeing the bigger picture and understanding that you deserve more than the fleeting satisfaction that this habit provides. You deserve the clarity, focus, and strength that come from mastering yourself. Self-control, the gateway to freedom. Now that we've laid bare the hidden cost of this habit, let's turn our attention to the path forward. If masturbation represents the loss of self-control, then the solution lies in regaining that control. But self-control is not just about saying no to temptation. It's about cultivating a mindset of discipline, focus, and inner strength that permeates every aspect of your life. Self-control is the gateway to freedom. It is the key to unlocking your true potential because, without it, you are a prisoner to your impulses, emotions, and desires. True freedom is not the absence of rules or restrictions. It is the ability to govern yourself, to choose your actions based on reason and purpose, rather than being driven by fleeting emotions or external circumstances. When you master self-control, you gain the ability to direct your energy toward the things that matter most. You no longer waste your mental and emotional resources on distractions or unproductive habits. Instead, you focus your attention on your goals, your growth, and your higher purpose. This is the essence of power, not the ability to dominate others, but the ability to master yourself. But how do you cultivate self-control in a world that constantly pulls you in 1,000 different directions? How do you resist the temptations that seem to surround you at every turn? The answer lies in a combination of awareness, discipline, and purposeful action. Awareness, the first step toward mastery. Before you can change anything, you must first become aware of it. Awareness is the foundation of self-control because you cannot control what you do not understand. When it comes to masturbation, this means taking a close, honest look at your behavior. Why do you engage in this habit? What are the triggers? Is it stress, boredom, loneliness, or something deeper? Many people go through life on autopilot, blindly following their habits without ever questioning them. They react to their emotions without understanding them, and as a result, they remain trapped in a cycle of impulse and gratification. But if you want to break free, you must wake up from this unconscious state. You must become aware of the patterns in your behavior and the emotions that drive them. Awareness is not just about recognizing the surface-level triggers. It's about diving deeper into your psyche to uncover the root causes of your behavior. For many, masturbation is not just about physical desire. It is an escape from uncomfortable emotions like stress, anxiety, or loneliness. It's a way to numb the mind, to distract yourself from the pain or emptiness you feel inside. Once you become aware of these deeper motivations, you can begin to address them directly. Instead of seeking comfort in fleeting pleasures, you can learn to confront your emotions head-on and deal with them in healthier, more productive ways. This is where the real work begins, and it requires a level of honesty and courage that most people are unwilling to face. But if you are serious about reclaiming your power, you must be willing to look at yourself with brutal honesty and confront the parts of you that are holding you back. Discipline, building the muscle of willpower. Awareness is the first step, but it is not enough on its own. To truly overcome this habit, you must also cultivate discipline. Discipline is the muscle of willpower, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. The more you practice self-control, the easier it becomes to resist temptation in the future. Discipline is not about depriving yourself or living a life of rigid restriction. It's about making conscious choices that align with your higher goals and values. It's about choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure, even when the latter is more immediately appealing. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe